Hi, I'm Richard Wheeler, and this is Richard Wheeler Works. It's a stream where I work. And we're continuing with looking at a project I've been working on for a number of years called If I Could See What You See. It's a project that's trying to examine worlds of intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance through looking at open source information on the web, specifically social media, junk on YouTube, just rando stuff that people have posted, forums, fan sites, uh, used gear pages, airsoft pages, whatever. There's a whole bunch of stuff out there, and that's what we're looking at. So today we're continuing some work that I started in the last episode, looking at the world of military propaganda and PR on Instagram, and specifically looking at a training course called the SRPC that is British Army 473 Sphinx uh, battery observation post something. I can't remember all the things. Oh, wait, I have it down here. Let's take a look. It's the right 473 Sphinx Special Observation Post battery. And what is that? That's a special unit inside the British Army that does reconnaissance and surveillance. And we're trying to figure out what is this course, right? Because this is a view into what does it mean to do surveillance, and is it something strange and mystical and crazy, and is there some conspiracy that the government has to do whatever, or is it just a job? It's one of the fundamental points of view of this project, is that these are just jobs. Just like a job you have, just like a job I have, work is work on some level. And part of work in a government organization is certain kinds of training. That's what we're looking at here. What is that training? How can we try to figure out, like, well, how much time would it take to recreate that training for yourself and get to know a little bit about it, that world. So here we are, raw research in one tab, just review where we were at. Aggregated research here. We've got some tabs up. This is all stuff I left open from last time, right? Posts we were looking at on the desktop here. So we can, this is again that reference we're going to go back to later. Remember, one of the points of this particular block of this project is that I found a document that another organization, group, person had obtained from the British government through a Freedom of Information request. By the way, there's a good podcast or a webinar by, let me see if I can find it. Journalism, if I can spell, journalism, Newcastle, YouTube. Da, 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 da. I'm gonna come back to this center. There's this really nice series of podcasts and or webinars that it's a journalism program in Newcastle, and I'm just not remembering off the top of my head. So next episode I'll have all that, because they had recently a good webinar with a journalist from the United Kingdom who does freedom of information work there. I've never done FOIA here in the United States, Freedom of Information Act, Freedom of Information in the UK. The name will be different in different countries. And that's part of what this project is looking at. It's like, well, what if you don't have to go through all that, because it's quite time consuming and can be quite labor intensive and can be quite costly also to successfully conduct freedom of information request. So, are there alternatives? This is about alternatives to that process. But what we're going to do is go back once we've gotten farther into this research and compare what we find to this document here, right? And that'll allow us to say, to have a natural experiment. Here's what you can get through an FOI. Here's what you can get just looking at Instagram and YouTube and listening to some podcasts and stuff like that. So how secret is it? Okay, so back to the work and some stuff. All right, so this is where we left off, right? Let's close that tab, and I have YouTube open there if I need it. All right, so we'd found a couple posts. This initial post that was not about the SRPC. Remember, it's about this 2-week photo course for special observers from the Defense School of Photography, which we'll get back to, I think. There's also this thing called Lateo Foundation we saw. And then we started going into posts that were hashtagged SRPC, and we found all these pictures of Seiko watches in addition to things we were interested in. And then we also had the STA, that's surveillance and target acquisition, patrols, Instagram page open, and then also the Royal Artillery, because they had reposted this one. So that's where we were at, and this is open twice for some reason. So things we had learned, a little bit about, we had speculated a little on how often this was offered, and then we learned a little bit about phase one. One thing I wanted to note, I was thinking about the other day, is that there's this thing that said, here, Lateo Foundation begins. It's kind of interesting, right? Let's make a section here called sequence. And that came from, okay, that initial post. Did they also say it in the other post? They don't. So I'm just gonna take this. Let's see, PRNP, because I'm just remember I'm making sure I source things so I know what came from what. So is the Lateo Foundation course a prerequisite to SRPC, right? Question. And then we're going to say, sorry, I don't like the automatic bulleting different. I don't like that. I like all my bullets to be the same. If so, what do trainees, aspirants, do in the, let's see, between 24 July, 4 to 5 weeks between Lateo Foundation and SRPC. Is there another course? Reasonable question, right? Okay, so we had this post. We had which post? We had this post, Royal Artillery. And I think one of the things that I said after looking at this SRPC hashtag and looking at all this Seiko watch stuff which just makes me want to buy a watch now or get my watch fixed because I have one that's broken. I said, why don't we just go look at the STA patrols? I don't know if it's STA or stay or, I think the Marine Corps calls it stay. Let's take a look at some of these. But I said, let's just go through here piece by piece and see what they have to say, right? Like, look at this one. A popular question we get asked is, what do you guys do on a day-to-day basis? All right, we'll get back to that later, right? But let's see this. It's a Q&A of... ooh, this is recent. This is like a couple weeks ago. Ooh, wow. Okay. How do I hold this? I know how to do this on the... oh, here, pause. How many REME blokes have passed the course? REME is a British uh, military slang for rear echelon. I thought it was REMF for something else. Right. Yeah. Rear echelon motherfucker. They've cleaned it up for... that's interesting. Yeah, so you need to know this is a double thing. It's not REME, it's REMF, and REMF is... So rear echelon motherfucker means somebody who... or the equivalent in the U.S. military is calling somebody a pogue position other than grunt. Somebody who does support stuff. What's an average day? There is no average day. Okay, cool. Ooh. After phase 2, this is okay. Look, we found something. After phase 2, do applicants head into a holding troop with you waiting for the next foundation course? So, okay. All right, let's see if we can... all right, well, this is not allowing me to inspect element here. That's what I'm trying to do. Unless I go to, let's see, web developer, inspector. Let's see what happens here. Remember, we're trying to find the source imagery. Okay, network. That's not helping. Oof. Right, and going through the okay, edit as HTML. So, because I'm trying to find the imagery, right, to save and make sense of. Ooh, before I was able to get when I was looking at the network traffic, I was able to get the actual copy the URL for the image directly. But because this is a story, an Instagram story, I'm thinking that if I hit reload to get that, repopulate the network, because this doesn't have all the images, the inspector needs to be on from the jump to capture all the traffic coming in. I don't want to start over, so I'm just looking in the inspector here and finding this is this is a lot. Oh, man. Okay. Let's just go over here and just going to start a new page down here. This is just some scratch. I'm not going to save any of this. Wow, that's a lot of stuff in there. Image. I'm looking for things that end with .jpeg, right? Obviously. Well, obviously. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's not obvious. Bad URL timestamp. Okay, well, this might take a second, guys. Let's do this. If I were going to do this like a bunch of times, I might build a tool to do this. I might build I don't know, do it in a spreadsheet is probably the easiest thing to do, something to just look for regular patterns. Or I could, program something in Python if it was something that was happening all the time. I mean, it would take me a little bit of coaxing to program something in Python. Bad URL timestamp. Well, it doesn't want me to do this. Something doesn't like something here. So I'm just gonna stow this. And I am gonna go back to this and network, and I'm gonna restart or reload. Let's see what happens. Okay. Oh, I'm just looking for images here too. Let's do this one more time. And let's see, maybe I can move this over to a sidebar or something. Yeah, here we go. This is a lot better. Right now I think we can see what we're doing here. I know it's blocked a little bit by me and the logo and everything, but okay, so but you can probably, all right, there we go. So this is the view to do it in, guys. Okay. It's not letting me interact with the let's see here. If I do this, all right, let's go back here. Obviously, I'm doing something that doesn't want me to do. Let's just go through here. And right now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some screenshots, okay? So we'll come back. Okay. Huh. Okay. Cat badge means this is yeah. I mean, expect officers. So cat badgers means like, kind of who do you belong to? Which unit do you belong to? That's what they're saying, but also what service. It's just British military slang. RA is Royal Artillery because that's the parent unit. A lot of development. Very exciting time. Okay. All right. Teach you everything you need to know about photography. Cool. We'll learn more about what that is. Okay. What's just you in the recce platoon? This is interesting. This is this is something to sort of think about. What are they saying here? What does this mean? So a platoon is an element that has 12, 16, 18, somewhere around there, people in it. And a platoon is, I don't know how big a battle group is actually in UK. I need to figure that out. Division is big, like thousands, could be 10,000 people, right? So that means you're working for a different echelon. who has different needs. And they are also saying our level of training is different. Are they saying it's more? I think so. I think they're probably trying to point that out. But they're British, so they're really restrained about it. Is the SRPC available to reservists this year? There's a reserve SRPC. Both courses come together for certain modules. Ah, all right, that's interesting. For more info, contact HAC, Honorable Artillery Company, London. Cool. Okay, what happens after SRPC? Well, we keep learning about things other than SRPC, but this is all useful. Continuation training. Land survival, JT fire joint tactical fire signaler, I'm assuming. SEER, survival, evasion, resistance, and escape. Quad operator, driving altering vehicles. Jackal, DVR, COMD. Well, Jackal, I think, is a off-road military vehicle. I don't know what DVR, COMD stands for. And then it's on to further training deployments. Continuation training, remember we saw right in the description of initial continuation training. So I don't know, maybe this photo course is part of that, right? Not sure. Screenshot that. Okay. What's the difference between you and Pathfinders? Right. Okay. More information about who does what. Okay. Interesting. What happens if you don't pass the course first time round from phase 2? See, I'm guessing that, remember we were back here and we saw phase, because, you know, it sounds to me like this SRPC is a part of a whole assessment and selection and training pipeline, which is pretty common for operate units with special missions units. I don't know if that's what they're called here, but you know, so we'll try to pull apart what is the assessment and selection. Well, there's kind of recruitment, assessment and selection, and then initial training, and then what they're saying, continuation training or advanced training. You know, just for reference, what we're looking at here is the recruitment phase. Like, why is all this information on Instagram? I think we talked about this in the last episode. It's because this is where the recruits are, the potential recruits. Do you get a... If you have relevant qualifications, this will help. For example, SCBC and LCRCC. Well, those are more acronyms, which I believe we saw here. LC, LR, LCRCC, and SCBC here. Okay, so those are related but different. Something to think about. I mean, one of the things that I'll probably do is make a link diagram that shows how all these go together. For the SRPC, you get the Special Observer qualification. On average, our soldiers undertake around 70 weeks of specialist training on courses, as opposed to exercises, I imagine they're saying. You are required to do SEER training, opportunity to train with other nation forces. Okay. Ooh, okay, here we go. This is useful. From day 1 of selection to your first day with unit, if you pass, how long is the process? 13 weeks and you're qualified as a special observer. Well, there we go. Go back and note all this. Is it true everyone does Junior Brecken and LCRCC to promote? Brecon is a the Brecon Beacons are a hilly area in Scotland or Wales. Why am I forgetting where the Brecon Beacons are? Probably because I've never been there. Heard about them a zillion times. Yeah, sorry, South Wales. There's other things that are in Scotland, but this is a endurance course there. There's a lot of hiking there. Use a recce background key, recce for reconnaissance. Everything you know we will teach you. Read our DIN. That's the document we have here, which we'll go back to. Okay. Human skills, mental and physical robustness, intellectual and emotional intelligence. Okay. I don't know what that means. CMTs. Average pass rate is 9.1 soldiers per year since 1982. So less than 25%, about 20% pass. Oh, whoa, hey. All right, well, I got to figure out how to download this image, obviously. There you go. That's the... okay, come on. I got to figure this out now. Let's go back to... inspector. And where's the image? There's HTML. This is the same thing we saw before, but let's try this. What is this bad URL timestamp error I keep getting? Oh. Oh, how do I do this? I'm going to go to all right, so I'm able to, all right. Let's go to network and set on images, and I'm seeing, here we go. Copy URL. Let's try that. Boom. Here we go. Oh, it's unreadable though, right? All right. I'm going to save that image. Getting a save dialog that you can't see here probably. So I could do a couple things. One thing I could do is, I mean, I could go in and try to modify this image and like crop this image and then use Google reverse image search, or I could just use Google reverse image search now. Let's try that and just see without cropping what happens. So I'm going to go to images, Google, because maybe this image is up in some form already at a higher resolution, right? So I'm going to upload an image. Well, I mean, I could paste this image URL that we just got. Let's do that first. Oh, okay. See what happens. Okay. Soil. Yeah, Google thinks we're planting a garden here. I mean, they're not wrong, per se. Okay, that didn't work much. Let's try uploading the same image. Here it is. Still soil. Let's see. If we say SRPC, does that help? Stafford Regional Planning Council. All right, hold on just a second here. I'm going to just, let's see, open, just leaving this up for a second as I do something else. I don't have it set up where you can see it, but I'm just going to try to do this in a hurry, which is I'm opening it in preview and making a copy, and I'm just cropping out the Instagram-y part of it. And let's go back to, okay, so now we're going to go back to the Google search by image. Your mileage is going to vary on search by image, but sometimes, you're able to, find another place where the same image has been used. All right. Well, we know now that there's this. We know that there's this chart somewhere. Just don't know what it is. We can read, or I can read here. Yeah, that says application. What happened here? Got all. There we go. Application, SRPC, aptitude phase, basic patrols, SOP phase, LFTT. It looks like it says live fire tactical training, and FTX, which is field training exercise. I mean, I don't know if you're going to be able. I can barely read some things. It's probably impossible for you. SRPC says 1 week. Oh, that's SRFC. 1 week surveillance reconnaissance foundation course. Huh. Something on the Cheviot Hills or something training area. Yeah, okay. More to read here. More to do. Why'd you do the LLC? Well, we'll figure that out. Do you get many bootnicks come to you guys? As I'm quite interested, to be honest. I don't know what bootnick means, but I'm assuming it means Royal Marines from the RM, but I don't know if there's some subgroup. Yeah, we saw this. What does the aptitude phase of the course involve? One of the things I did is just went in and broke this down into, or did some conversions between kilometers and miles and pounds and kilograms. So we have that. Open to women. Women have served in many units like this in the United Kingdom, or a unit that does things related to this, I should say. Yeah, physical fitness. Next foundation is okay. Here's another one that's interesting, right? Because this tells us about the next course for. Yeah, we're gonna have to figure this out because this is gonna go into our questions about sequence and frequency. Because if this says the next Lateo Foundation is 20 March to 02 April, the next Lateo Foundation is 29 March to 02 April, and this is 2021 because that is from this, which is January 21st, 2021. Two oh two one oh 121. If that were true, let's see, is the Latea is foundation course. How am I trying to put this? Our Latea Foundation course dates a good indicator of when the next SRPC will begin. Right. If so, this would support, this might support the idea that the next SRPC will run at the end of April, and therefore that there are two course cycles per year. See above. Yeah. And we saw, right, that, let's see, length. We had it here, right? I'm just going to put it like this, 13 weeks. We got quite a bit out of that, but we still need to figure out how to take apart these Instagram stories better and make sense of them. Oh wait, I did get this though, didn't I? So that leads me to believe that yeah. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go to tools. I'm gonna go to inspector. I'm going to go to network. going to go to the next one. Right. Okay. Copy URL. Sorry, I'm back and just looking at me here. Not. Okay. All right. So what I really should be doing here is getting this raw stuff out, right? So I'm going to insert a break here. And how am I doing this again? Right. Okay. And the URL was that. Just want to see something. Does that take me to the specific page or just the whole story? Okay. Yeah, so this URL doesn't take you into a specific piece of it, right? It's just the landing page for that story. Date 2021-0121. Images. Okie dokie. So we had this copy URL. Insert image from URL here. Insert. All right. Okay. Yeah. So I can either just do all this, get all these, or cooking show this. We can go do it another time. Do it off screen. Yeah, I might cooking show this, actually. All right, so we keep that there. What's a specific post? So we got 2 more stories. That one wasn't very useful. And here's another AMA from 38 weeks ago. That's cool. All right, we can compare and contrast. Boy, a lot of the same questions. Clearly people aren't doing the same research we're doing together. What are the standards of fitness? Standards are 1.5 mile run, 8 mile loaded march, and swim test. All right, well, we'll figure it. Woo, there are a lot of questions in here. We're going to come back to this. So that's posts. Let's see, reels. Okay. IGTV. Tagged. Huh. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. A lot of stuff going on in here. Whoa, way. Okay, there's some stuff. Some stuff for sure. Let's take a look at one of these reels, though. See what's happening there. If this were like subtitled, it would say like intriguing music. Okay. All right. All right. That didn't tell us much. How about this? Mm-hmm. Ah, this is a relatively new one. Okay. I don't know how loud that was for you. That was very loud for me. Mateo Foundation. The next one. Uh, ah, no. So it's not the same. All right. 21. They run this 3 times a year. There we go. Right? Because if the Lateo Foundation is February and this one runs February, then as per what we were saying here, it could either run, yeah, it's two, oh, maybe it's running 4 times a year or every 2 months. Ugh, all right. Learning more, watching more. Not quite there yet, but we're getting a little closer. Certainly runs more than once a year. We know it runs more than once a year now. All right. And then I feel like some of these really had a lot going on. What's this? Wait, what's this? Surveillance Reconnaissance Patrols course. We did it. We figured out what it is. Well, la dee da. Let's open this in a new tab. It happened. All right, well, we're 2 hours in, roughly, and we know what we're looking at now. So let's get this. To get this back up. Insert. Right, remember, this is just the raw research we're doing. Should probably put some header on or something. URL. Date. And this was 2020-0428. 2020-0428. And we're going to go in and oh, boom. Oh, wait a second. This is the one we wanted. This is telling us all we want to know. Mm-hmm. 2 weeks SOP training, 1 week subsurface OPs, 1 week surface OPs, 1 week urban OPs. Oh. Yes, we did it. All right, so now we're going to go back to that inspector mode, right? We're going to go to network. We're going to reload. And that's going to bring up the links to the images. And we're going to roll over. I don't need the Instagram logo. Thank you. I don't need the logo for the, oh, hey. All right. Copy as URL. Go back over here. Insert image from URL. There we go. Boom. Are you focused enough? Pretty cool. Go back over here. All right. These are all the, well, let's see, 640. Do they have higher res versions of these? No, these are all the, whatever. These rises are fine. Copy URL. Insert. Okay. I mean, it didn't take us long, guys. Really, when you think about it. It's been what, like I said, 2 hours, more or less. Once we decided this was the project we were going to work on to get down to. This isn't a day-by-day breakdown. This isn't an hour-by-hour breakdown. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. That's going to be there. Don't worry. But this is certainly a lot more. We didn't even know what it was. We just saw a thing that said, there's this course. We knew about the existence of a thing. Oh, this was the same. Oops. Are you focused enough? Oh, I see. This was 720, 720, 640, 640. So we need to keep going down here. Ah, okay. Huh. I don't know why there aren't higher res images of this, but whatever. I'm just going to take this. Copy URL. Insert image from URL. Now, if there were a lot of these, if there were a ton of these, I would put these into Adobe Acrobat and use the, I might do that anyway, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, and I'll do that next time, is I need to do some like internal rigging to bring in different apps. This isn't just like, plugging in my PlayStation or my Xbox here, right? Like I got to do some work because each app is different. I'm switching between them a lot. But yeah, I'll go into Adobe Acrobat and use the optical character recognition function there to recognize this text and make it easier to copy and paste it out. Because that's just a good best practice, to not sit there and manually type everything. That seems sort of silly, right, to do? Right, and this is the last one. Copy URL. And, right, do that. And, one last thing I'm going to do, I probably won't do it right now, is, which I have been doing, which I need to start doing, is saving all these images and screenshotting as I find, because, who knows what's going to stay up and what's not going to stay up. We can look at that on YouTube, how many videos I've found over the years that have then disappeared for various reasons. All right. Well, I think that's a good place to wrap up for the day, because we've just found a whole bunch of stuff. I think next episode we'll sort of process this this and the story that we found. And that just between those two, we're going to find a ton of information about how it all fits together and some of that date kind of stuff I was just talking through, just come up with a better hypothesis of, or a more refined hypothesis of how frequently it runs. Um, and then, we'll just check in with where we're at, decide like, is it time yet to look at that Freedom of Information document, that MOD, Ministry of Defense document that was obtained through a Freedom of Information request, or do we want to do maybe another hour or two and get a little deeper? That document, just so you know, it's 7 pages long, and like a page of it is just, at least a page of it is just like a cover page. So 6 pages. I'll tell you this, with the information that we have here about the length of the marches and the weights required, we already have more detail than that 6-page document, because that's, I mean, you're not going to have some like really granular information about what's going on in the course at that level. So in a way, we're already deeper. And I mean, my guess is we're going to find that we create a composite picture that in some ways is much more detailed, but that will also miss, potentially large portions of it, and that's kind of what happens with this method, right? Is that you don't know what you're looking for a lot of the time. So you may have to imagine like what else could be missing. If what we'll do is, I think, try to maybe do an exercise of taking all that we found and then saying, what if we were writing an official memo, right, describing this course? What would that look like, right? Um, and then in writing that memo, with the information we have, we may also sort of block it out, write an outline and say, well, what else would I want in a memo? I haven't found that yet, right? So we can sort of figure that out. But we're really, I think, already doing that in a way, or maybe I'm already doing that, subconsciously, saying like, how often does it run? What is it related to? How's it structured? That those are the kind of, who are the points of contact, all that kind of stuff, right? We've got a lot of it already. So that's enough work for today, I think. At least for me. I'm Richard Wheeler. I've been working on Richard Wheeler Works. Thanks.